and welcome to the Healing Way. My name is Richard Clark, and on this video I want to map out some ideas and put forward some groundwork, lay some groundwork for the next healing method, which is healing with energy step 4. I've got quite a few ideas and I want to just put them out there just to try and get them in order. I've actually got the method. It's quite strange the way the mind works. The mind seems to watch things, observe things, connects, and then it solves the problem. It figures out what needs to be done and what it provides the answer. It pushes the answer through to the point where I can understand it. It's a bit strange talking like this. It's as if mind and brain and me are all different things, connected in different ways, but that's how it appears at times. So I've actually got the method, which I think, I haven't yet used it. I will be using it and testing it and studying it as usual. But the method looks like bringing together 3 of the 4 forces or effects that I've been using. That is electromagnetism, as in the batteries, oil, I think I'll be using olive oil on this one, and lead. Olive oil represents the weak nuclear effect, oil represents that effect, and lead, which represents gravity. Now lead is toxic, so I don't want anybody eating it or chewing on it or doing anything silly. When I show the method, please follow the steps if you're using these healing methods, and wash your hands afterwards because it is toxic. Now lead you can get, I actually found these pieces of lead near a building site. They've been repairing the roof, and once the scaffold was all taken away I found little bits of lead laying on the pavement, which was really handy, so I picked them up. Another place you can get lead is if you walk along the path by a road, quite often you'll see lead weights that have come off car wheels, car tyres and wheels, use them for balancing, and I've come across 2 just walking along the street. Please don't start taking them off cars, that isn't the way to do this. Okay, if you find them, fair enough. The other place for lead is fishing shops, plumbing shops. Fishermen use lead for fishing. Okay, you only need a small amount. This piece I've got, I'm going to cut into pieces about 1/4 of an inch square if you're on imperial, or I don't know, 7 or 8 millimeters square if you're on metric. Is that right? Yeah, that's about right. So that's the method. It's going to be on the forearms. I'm going to use the oil and combine the 3 forces. It's pretty straightforward and simple, but what is it all for? Okay, I've taken on board 5 long-term chronic conditions. Cancer isn't really a chronic condition because it's terminal, but it is one of them. And I'm looking at these 5 major illnesses to get a greater understanding of each one, to get a greater general understanding of illness, and to study and learn more. That isn't to say that my methods will only work on these illnesses. They'll work on pretty near anything, because if you've been working through them, you'll see that step 1 helps the immune system to become free from all the harmful influences that are in the body. Step 2 restores the energy to the vitamins and minerals of the body, so they start working better. Step 3 is a repair one that repairs the energy of the body, the energy flows, and helps the brain to recover. So as you go through each step, more and more of the body starts coming into the healing process. The immune system, the repair, the energy of the body, the brain, it all starts coming in. So as you go through the steps, more and more help. It's like a snowball effect. More and more comes in and you get greater and better healing results. By the time you get to step 3, you really will start noticing the difference. You really will. And as these different parts of our existence are recovered, they start to recover and come back and start working, they'll start harmonising with each other, and they become much stronger as they blend and join with each other and communicate. So that's all good. Now, just a quick word before I'll just digress on this. Going back to step 3, which was using the pads of cotton wool with oil on them on the forearms, inside the forearms. At the moment, I'm actually testing out a different oil to see how that one works, and it's quite interesting to see how subtle all the different oils are. Now I've got some pads on at the moment just to show, and I'm testing them, and this is argan oil, also known as Moroccan oil. People use it for their skin and their hair and their nails. Okay, this particular bottle I bought from my friend Gavin, who sells it on Amazon, and he goes under the name of Zendo Special Organics Argan Oil. That's Amazon UK. Moroccan liquid gold it's got. So if you want to give that a try, I honestly don't know at the moment what it's doing. I know it's doing something. There's a very subtle effect, and it's very it's going very deep. But at the moment, it's not possible to say what it is doing. As I say, very subtle, very interesting. Okay. Going back to step 4. Step 4 brings in lead, and lead embodies gravity. It's the effect of gravity. And as I was saying, I've been looking at, oh yeah, I never finished that bit. I've been looking at the different illnesses that I want to learn from. And the illnesses I've decided on are multiple sclerosis, which is called, I think, disseminated sclerosis elsewhere in the world, Parkinson's disease, motor neuron disease, cystic fibrosis, and cancer. And these are obviously big illnesses. And the one, step 3 seems to be focused more on MS, multiple sclerosis. And when I get a chance, I want to work through that so I can get more on it. And this one, step 4, seems to have the focus as Parkinson's disease. It seems to be coming up a lot, Parkinson's disease. There's a lot to work through. There's a lot of information on this that I'm getting. It's all about connecting. You have to connect to all these different parts of you to see what they're telling you. Mind and brain and your own feelings. Right, now as far as, let's just go a little further with the MS one. That appears to be flying insects is a major factor. And as I said before, but what's bothering me is there is a lot more. I've more or less divided the insects into flying insects and insects that walk on the ground. And this seems, I thought it'd just be 2 categories, but what I overlooked was how many insects there are. I mean, there are thousands. And the problems with the insect energy is it never goes away. It hasn't got a lifespan. I mean, energy doesn't anyway. Energy only changes into different forms. It doesn't, according to science, it's not created or destroyed, but maybe with their experiments with the Higgs boson, maybe they are going to change their minds on that. But at the moment, let's just say that this insect energy, it just carries on. So if the insect energy was there 1,000 years ago, it's still there in the ground or in people. And this is a bit of a worry, obviously, but what is starting to reveal itself is how many different types of insects there are and how many different insect energy there is in people. Yeah, I mean, there's a vast amount. It's huge. And this energy because of all the different insect energies have different effects, when they start combining with each other or combining with other elements, other energies, then you really do get there's a possibility of a huge amount of combinations of different illnesses that will appear. I want to understand as much as I can that side of it, but the important part is to develop the methods. So sometimes methods will come along and I'll just be in the position of saying that is the method, I can't explain it, it just is that way. I can understand to a point that it does what it does, but it can become so complicated it's difficult to go into it. Right, so MS, the other thing on MS was there was a question, why is it affected by heat? And I think this is the insect energy, it responds to heat. It becomes more active, more vibrational when it's people take hot baths or something like that. That's why the symptoms increase. Right, MS is a thing that mainly affects women, apparently, from what I've read. Now, going to Parkinson's disease, this is something completely different. It absolutely, back to MS. MS is a very subtle insect thing, very subtle, it's very deep, right? The thing about perception is it's almost like you can tune it, so you can tune it to go in deep into a person, paying proper attention to their right of privacy, of course. You don't just do it without asking them and telling them what's going on and saying you want to do the study of it all. But it's very subtle. It's a case of refining the perception and going deeper, drilling down, deeper and deeper, and getting to the core of it, the heart of it. Now this, in a way, is an example of females. Very subtle, very good at concealment, for want of a better way of putting it. There's more deeper down than there is on the surface. Right, but so that is my feeling. There's a lot of factors coming together that I'll try and tackle to get a better understanding of multiple sclerosis. Now then, now back to Parkinson's disease. This one absolutely screams at me insects. This isn't subtle. It isn't hidden. It is on the surface, and there is a massive amount of insect energy. And it's the insect energy of insects as they've just taken flight. When you get a swarm of insects that have just taken flight, they're very, very active, and they've just left the nest, that is it. That is the energy. Very, very active, swarming insect energy with Parkinson's. Yes, that's it. On the surface, this isn't a subtle thing. As I said, females tend to be more concealing, males tend to be more open and showing, more on the surface, let's say. These are just generalisations. I realise somebody can email me and saying, well, I'm a female and I'm open, I'm on the surface. Yeah, I understand that. I'm just talking in generalisations, trying to relate to illnesses. So Parkinson's absolutely screams at me insect energy that gets in on the surface. Now what is it? Now the other thing that comes over is, there's another thing with Parkinson's disease, is that apparently it affects more men than women. So what are men doing that women don't do? Well, there's two factors that come to mind. They're a bit odd, but one is vibration. One is vibration. We are exposed to an awful lot of vibration in our lives nowadays. Artificial vibration. I'm not talking about natural vibrations, but because of all different machinery and electronics and motors, all kinds of motors everywhere now, electric motors, drills, everything. We are exposed to an awful lot of vibration, unnatural vibration, let's say, unnatural vibration. And the worst of these seems to be the drilling of teeth. When we go to the dentist and we have fillings or whatever, the tooth is drilled, and the drilling, the vibration goes into the jaw. Goes into the jaw. I speak from experience. I've had plenty of dental work. Now it's very interesting that they're bringing out, I think I was reading Google Glass, this new idea from Google. They use the jawbone as an antenna. And I've seen this before, where the jawbone can be used as an aerial. Right. And also because it's bone, it's got mineral content and it will vibrate. And what I think is happening is, when the teeth are drilled, it sets up a vibration in the jawbone, which is very harmful, very damaging. And this is one for instance. Another example would be, now the dentist is men and women, obviously, there's no difference there, but men tend to be tool users. Men are using more and more drills, power saws, for cutting, for drilling, for polishing, for sanding. Everything now is power tools that vibrate, and these vibrations go into people and they set up a resonance that keeps going. It keeps amplifying. Okay. Now we're aware of this vibration white finger, the old term for the damage done to the hands through drilling and stuff like that. So there is this, but this is much more subtle. This vibration goes into the energy of the body, and it seems to me it's like a river. It flows like a river. And if the vibration is the river, what it does is it carries things in it, and the things it's carrying is insect energy, because insect energy, generally speaking, cannot move once it's in the body. It cannot move, not really, unless it's attached to something like an energy or a virus or a bacteria or a yeast. Now that's another thing I want to get to, yeast. So that's the position there. It seems to me that unnatural vibrations are carrying in insect energies into the body, and in this particular instance, I haven't seen much beyond that, but it seems logical, which is always unfortunate to bring in, because logic usually is a way of going wrong with complete confidence. But the logic of it is the vibrations carry insect energy into the brain where it does the damage. That's the logic. There might be more to it, but that's the feeling. Now then, yeast. Another thing men tend to do rather than women is drink beer. And beer is brewer's yeast. It's a type of yeast. I know they use yeast in making wines and spirits and that, which women drink. I understand that. But brewer's yeast for beer, that is dangerous. That is very dangerous. That yeast hunts the insect energy. There's a combination there. It hunts the insect energy, and when it gets it, it consumes it. And in the consuming of the insect energy, it damages the body. The body is damaged. It's definitely a yeast. Right. Okay, what's next? Ah, lead. So we come to healing with energy step 4, using lead. Now in lead, what I think is going to happen is the lead will dampen down all the unnatural vibration in your body, in the body. That's what I think will happen. It will stop the carrier wave. The vibrations act as a carrier wave for other more harmful energies, bringing them in. And the lead, I believe, will dampen down all these harmful vibrations. I'm pretty sure it will. Right, that's all I want to say on that bit. Now let's get to gravity side of things. Hope you're sticking with me on this. I know it can be hard. I need these videos to work stuff out. If I don't get it out, I get stuck. So it's like I'm talking to somebody here. I'm saying to somebody, this is where I've got to, and this is what I'm doing. And then once I've got it all out, it's like the train starts up again. It starts moving. Gravity. It's very interesting. Gravity, there's something going seriously wrong in our bodies regarding gravity. We're gaining areas of, for want of a better way of putting it, where gravity is stronger. You probably won't be able to measure this, and science would say, well, gravity is a universal. It's the same on the planet, it's the same wherever you are. I don't know. But in the body, what's happening is we are consuming small amounts of toxic metals, like lead, because of all the dumping of toxic material we do on the ground. We dump toxic material on the ground, we put toxic pollutants into the air, and we poison the water. So we're doing quite well. Clever, aren't we? So these toxic materials, this toxic lead, toxic metal, gets into the bones, and it gravitates down to the ends of the bones, the joints, gets down to the joints, where because of its effect on gravity, or its ability to focus gravity, that might be a better way of putting it, it focuses gravity. These materials, where they've got a lot of weight, act like a focus for gravity. These materials being, in this instance, lead. They act as a focus for gravity. And when they get into the joints, in the bones, the ends of the bones, tips of the bones, the focus of gravity damages the cartilage. Damages the cartilage. Now, it's tempting to say this happens in all the joints. It happens and damages the discs, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this is a cartilage damaging problem, not a disc damaging problem. I don't think it hurts discs. There's something different with discs. Yeah, there's something different with discs. That one will have to come. Okay, so what this does, lead does, when it's used, it will balance out, neutralise this focus of gravity in the body, in very small areas, and focus it all, and spread it all out. It will spread out the focus, so the body's gravity will return to how it should be, and the metal that's in the bones, at the tips of the bones, this will be more neutralised. It won't be such a problem, because its existence in the bones is a tremendous problem to the bone. It's like the bone is horrified. It's absolutely horrified by this stuff, and tries, strange enough, it tries to move away from it. It's like it peels away. And this could be, maybe this leads to another healing problem, I don't know, I haven't seen it. So, going back to healing method number 4, it will use lead to dampen down the vibrations in the body, so the body is much calmer, much more relaxed, the carrier waves will be eliminated. It will do the same to gravity. It will level out or even out the gravity in us, so that there isn't so much wear and tear in certain areas. And I'm hoping that once this happens, joint problems like cartilage and things like this will recover. It might even be the bones recover if this leads to something like osteoarthritis. So there's that. Now the oil, using the oil will act as a carrier. The energy of the oil carries the energy, the power of the lead into the body, so that'll act as a carrier. Now I haven't, strangely enough, used olive oil. I bought some, put it in the cupboard and forgot about it. And then when I started using the method, I started using flax oil for number 3, which seemed quite good. I haven't got a problem with that. I don't feel like changing it to olive oil, but I definitely feel that olive oil is now going to have its place in the sun, And anyone who's trying method number 3 or step 3 might well want to give olive oil, argan oil a go. It's worth something to think about. So the olive oil for step 4, which is the carrier energy, and the battery providing the electromagnetic force or effect, which is the overall field. It's the overall field. Which allows things to work within them. Going back to these, by the way, it's still 2 drops. Don't worry about aspirin in this. So long as you've used aspirin on one of the oils, the main one being the flax oil, you needn't worry about putting aspirin into these oils that are used secondary. So olive oil, just a couple of drops in a pad on the inside of the forearms. Argan oil, just a couple of drops the same. Inside a cotton pad, not on the surface, but in the middle, so there's no contact with the oil with the skin. If you make contact with the oil with the skin, that stops it working so well. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, I've more or less worked this out. I've got out what I wanted to say, so I'm happy with that. It's about 30 minutes, so that's the usual time. The last video, it overrun the time on the camera, that's why the ending got missed off, but it was only a minute or so of goodbyes, so you missed me saying goodbye. Alright, I'll leave it at that, and hopefully I'll be posting Healing with Energy Step 4 soon as I get a better grip on it. Right, great. If you've watched this, thanks very much. It's much appreciated, and I'll see you, or you see me on the next one. Thank you.